Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'd like to wish you a warm welcome to this year's edition of the Volunteer Impact Awards 2024. It's a pleasure to be with you all today. Please do let us know where you're joining us from in the chat box and tell us what your relationship with VSO is. So hosting you today, my name is Gift George Mwanza from Zambia, and my colleague.
Awas Nadir from Pakistan.
Thank you. So we'll ask you to please keep your mics on mute. But before we do that, may you please give us some thumbs up on the screen. And it's so nice to see so many of our global VSO family on the call. And I know some of you are gathered. I don't know who's done the mic. I'm getting some feedback. Thank you. Yes, I know some of you are gathered in your country offices in celebration of the volunteers that have been nominated for the Volunteer Awards today from your various countries. And the annual Volunteer VSO Impact Awards is a very good and very special occasion for us as it allows us to recognize the exceptional contribution of the VSO volunteers around the world. So today we are not only celebrating the work of our VSO volunteers, but it's also a special time of the year when we also recognize the International Volunteers Day. So before I hand over the mic maybe to my co-host, I will give you a summary of my volunteer journey. So I started my volunteer journey with VSO in 2022 May, when I joined as a researcher evaluating the impact of ICT in the projects from Zambia. That was on the TALK project. And in September 2022, I transitioned to the national volunteer role, where I served as a national social accountability and inclusion advisor on the MECWE project, looking at sexual reproductive and health rights. In December 2023, I was here as one of the finalists under the health category, and it was such a big step for me as in my volunteer journey. And unfortunately enough, my journey came to an end in May this year, 2024. Can you please keep our mics mute? Thank you. And in September 2024, I joined VSO as a full-time staff under the Active project as the project officer. So in a nutshell, that has been my volunteer journey with VSO. And maybe so I can hand over the mic to my co-host. He will give you his volunteer journey and tell you more about himself. Over to you, Awes.
Thank you so much, Gift. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be your host today for the 2024 Volunteer Impact Awards. So my name is Awas Nadir and I am from Pakistan. I have been volunteering. Guys, please, if you could keep your mics on mute. Thank you. I have been volunteering with VSO under the Active program, which spells as Active Citizenship through Inclusive Volunteering and Empowerment. I am deeply committed to advocating for children's rights and their access to education. I have, under the Active program, I have led several education campaigns, awareness campaigns in Pakistan, because there are 26 million out of school children in Pakistan right now, and I believe that these two causes are the foundational to building a better place and an equitable world. And with these children, these are the future of our society. I believe we should work towards their betterment. So we are here today to celebrate the extraordinary work of VSO volunteers. These individuals have dedicated their time and passion to creating positive change in their communities around the world. This year we have two categories, while we can only officially have two winners in each category. But for us, every volunteer is a remarkable individual. We want to recognize and appreciate everyone's efforts in building a fairer world. But it's not just about VSO volunteers. We would love to know how you celebrated this International Volunteer Day. Please share your experiences in the chat box. Thank you so much. So now I would thank you. Now let's hand it over to VSO's co-CEOs, Catherine and Donne. They will share their insights on VSO's global work in diverse areas such as livelihood, gender equality, and education. So over to Donne and Catherine. Please share your experiences with us.
Great. Thank you so much to Gift in a Ways, and really appreciate you supporting us as our hosts today for our VSO Volunteer Impact Awards. Good morning and good afternoon. And from my co-CEO, Catherine, and myself, a very warm welcome to all of you to this occasion of the VSO Volunteer Impact Awards. This is a really special event for VSO. So as we move from yesterday's worldwide celebration of the power of volunteering, we come now to an event that especially recognizes the contribution of VSO's own volunteers. As we've reflected from the past years, our world around us seems to become more divided. There's climate change, the well-being of communities everywhere, and as those who are marginalized and vulnerable carry the burden of these changes, we at VSO remain more confident than ever that if we are to create transformational change, if we are to create a fairer world, then the solution lies in the hands of people, those willing to step forward to create positive change. Over the past 2 years, the efforts of over 10,000 VSO volunteers have had a direct impact on the lives, the health, the education, and the livelihoods of over 4 million people, and have touched the lives of another 20 million. All of these people have been supported to use their skills, their voice, and their agency to strengthen their communities and the systems that affect their lives by becoming more engaged and more effective active citizens. In Kenya, for example, national volunteers are working with young waste pickers to increase their income and their health by improving their knowledge, ensuring safe working conditions, and supporting them to organize so that they can negotiate better rates for their waste. In other communities, women's collectives are challenging and overcoming traditional norms by starting small businesses, learning how to save and manage finances, restoring climate-resilient flora, and getting involved in the development of local government policies and planning. Across 5 countries in East Africa, local partners with VSO are working with youth volunteers to identify and dismantle the barriers and social norms that hinder marginalized youth from accessing sexual and productive health services, supporting over 30,000 young people to improve their access to health choices and lives. In Ethiopia, on the border with Kenya, where communities are living with the devastation of drought, scarce resources, and conflict, VSO volunteers are supporting income generation interventions to reduce conflict and are amplifying the voices of young people in national advocacy programs and in engaging with government about the decisions that affect their lives. In a range of countries, in Myanmar, Uganda, Mozambique, Kenya, Rwanda, and Pakistan, VSO volunteers are transforming the educational environment and learning outcomes for the most marginalized children in those countries, especially in conflict and post-conflict settings. Hundreds of community volunteers create safe learning spaces where they mentor and support children and their educators to increase numeracy and literacy outcomes, to foster stronger life skills, and to support knowledge for generating an income. Through these volunteers, more children have access to learning opportunities, the quality of teaching is improved, and engagement with parents, the community, school leaders, and education authorities ensures a better education system for all children. All of these changes and many more are made possible by a global network of youth platforms, local partners, people's collectives, and supporters who are committed to transformational change through volunteering. Catherine, over to you.
Thank you, Johnny. I'm Catherine, the other co-CEO at VSO. And as Donny has said, we are so delighted to be able to join with all of you today. Volunteers, supporters, our employee team. At VSO this week, we have been taking some time to celebrate these wonders of volunteering for development. Donnie has described some examples. We have also been sharing stories, hearing from one another. And today we have another opportunity to celebrate impact and recognise some outstanding individuals. Each of these individuals who you will hear from today have chosen to volunteer. They do that with others. They do it themselves, taking a first step. They do it because they're encouraged by someone who's done it before. They do it because something inside of them recognises they want to be able to make a difference. They're interacting with a load of different places within the systems in which we live and work. And for us, we see that as the VSO network of volunteers. It is, of course, about the now. Volunteering is about what we're doing today in 2024, and we're celebrating some of that work that has happened in the last few months, in the last year. But it is also about the future. It's about the sustainable development and contribution that these individuals, their communities, and therefore the wider system gets from all of the work and activity, the relationships that are built, and what happens in our systems to become stronger societies, which we're all have in our sights as something which we think will help contribute to more sustainable development for those who haven't had those opportunities in the past. So the network is growing. It is growing. Donnie has talked about the numbers and people whom we have reached through the VSO system this year. But this year we also have 8 digital ambassadors, volunteers who are helping with that growth. They are reaching new people. They're sharing the content of what our VSO volunteers are doing, what the VSO work looks like. They're keeping in touch. They're reaching different people so that others can understand some of the many, many activities which VSO people are actively engaging in to build these strong foundations for development. So now, shortly, we're going to hear the voice of our finalists for 2 awards. Those finalists for the System Strengthening Award are volunteering in Mozambique, in Rwanda, in Pakistan, and in Ethiopia. The finalists for the Active Citizen Award are volunteering in Nepal, in Uganda, in Myanmar, and in Tanzania. You're going to see a film shortly to highlight some of the work that they've been doing. We know at VSO that to change the future, we need to change the story, not just the story itself and who it is about, but also who imagines the story and who gets to tell it. So this film is the opportunity for these new stories to have the power to break the spell of the old ones. As you hear these stories, our ask of you is that you listen and think about how you will retell those stories to continue the growth of this amazing thing, which is the VSO volunteer movement. I'm handing back to our hosts, who I think are going to manage the technology of showing the film. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much, co-CEOs Donnie and Catherine, for that wonderful message, which indeed is inspiring evidence to the power of volunteerism and the transformative impact of integrating the systematic change and with community empowerment. Let us draw some motivation, I think, from these exceptional volunteers to amplify our own efforts and towards a more inclusive and sustainable future. So before we play the videos, I would like to introduce the 2 categories that we are about to announce today for the winners. Although it's true that each category can only have 1 official winner, I would love to believe that the truth is that all the volunteers that we're going to highlight today are all winners in every sense, because their dedication, their hard work, and their contribution are shaping a fairer and more equitable world for everybody. And the knowledge, the expertise, the passion are the foundation that everything that VSO has achieved and is continuing to achieve. And without you, this mission would not be possible. So at this moment, I'd like to introduce to you the categories of our winners today. So the first category that we have for our winners today, we have the system strengthening category, which recognizes the true and meaningful change that happens when the citizens hold their local leaders, the duty bearers, accountable for their decisions and their actions. So the volunteers under this category collaborate with the governments, with the community groups, with the local organizations to improve the service delivery and making it more efficient, impactful, and more sustainable. And then the second category that we have is the active citizenship category, which recognizes the efforts of the volunteers in empowering individuals and communities to advocate for their rights and drive social change. So under this category, the volunteers partner with the government and work directly with the people to amplify their voices and ensure that their participation in decision-making is and their voices are heard. So both of these categories do highlight the immense diversity of the impact that our volunteers create. So we look forward to celebrate their stories today. And please stay tuned and get to hear their stories. So with that said, I will now hand over the mic to Zainab, who announced the winners under the system strengthening category. And Zainab is the educational advisor for the British High Commissioner in Pakistan. Over to you, Zainab. It's a pleasure to have you on this call today.
Thank you so much, Gift. I'm very excited to be here. Just as a slight introduction, like Gift said, I am an education advisor with the British High Commission in Pakistan. Me and the other advisors support a wide portfolio in education that includes a bilateral assistance program designed to help kids out of school and the government system to deliver better quality learning, as well as a data and research and evidence building program. The UK is also a major contributor to Education Cannot Wait, and we're very happy to have partnered with VSO in its implementation. And I have to admit that the actual hard bit, the difficult bit and the most challenging bit, which is the implementation, is carried out by partners like VSO and by individuals like the people on this call today. I'll also tell everyone a bit about what volunteering means to me. I think spiritually, personally, I've always believed that giving money is the easiest thing to do. But to actually volunteer your mind, your heart, your energy, and to do it consistently is extremely difficult. Without any further ado, I'd love to introduce the finalists for the system strengthening category. We will play a video to introduce them and their work.
VSO works with global movement of volunteers to support system strengthening and active citizenship across livelihoods, gender, disability, climate, education, and health. So what do we mean by system strengthening? Sustainable change occurs when citizens hold decision makers to account. Volunteers work with governments, civil society, and local partners to ensure that services are delivered effectively and sustainably. Meet this year's finalists in the System Strengthening category. Nelma Joaquim, National Volunteer from Mozambique. In Mozambique, more than 8 million people are illiterate, and 5 million of these are aged 15 to 19. Nearly half of all girls marry by the age of 18, which often denies them an education, especially those with children, disabilities, or affected by HIV and AIDS. The EGO project by VSO and Light for the World supports over 4,000 out-of-school girls, providing them with tablets to support them with their digital learning. Nelma has collaborated with community volunteers, teachers and local authorities to improve digital literacy, numeracy and life skills among adolescent girls while empowering them to understand their rights. She has transformed the lives of over 500 girls in Manica, and the project is expanding to reach 2,500 more girls across 4 more districts. Celestine Kalayezi, National Volunteer from Rwanda. Let's Learn Through Play is a Lego Foundation-funded project that promotes play-based learning for Rwandan children aged 3 to 6. The project has supported over 86,000 children, 1,000 teachers, 700 school leaders, and 2,500 community members across Rwanda's 30 districts. As an EdTech volunteer, Celestine has played a pivotal role in developing content for the VSO School app, a platform for creating and sharing learning materials. He translated, digitized, and uploaded content, trained over 900 teachers on app usage, and helped integrate interactive, localized digital resources into Rwanda's education system.
I'm really proud of helping teachers to be able to help children to explore their own thing, to explore the world. The dream for the project, I can see the dream as seeing all children are active, proactive doing, creative, exploring, children making their own things, not to only rely on the teacher's experience. Play is very important. Parents should play with their children. So once you play with your child, it will bring attachment with your child. Then you can even share more experience.
Farida Juma Khan, Community Volunteer, Pakistan. In Pakistan, an estimated 22.8 million children are out of school. Many of these children are Afghan refugee children. The Education Cannot Wait program provides quality education to 155,000 vulnerable children in North and West Pakistan. Farida transformed her home into a learning center for children, offering essential facilities and creating a positive learning environment using her training in mental health, life skills, and disaster reduction. Through door-to-door visits and meetings with community members, she challenged misconceptions, built trust, and shifted community attitudes toward girls' education.
We enroll poor and needy children in our centers, and we visit our area door to door to aware the parents, especially mothers, that they send their children in our centers to educate. Then we educate them. Myself belongs from poor and uneducated family, and I get my education to face many problems and difficulties. That's why I like to spend times and teach the children and helping others. When I enroll the children in formal school, then I am very happy.
Sena Getenet, National Volunteer, Ethiopia. The Active and IPDHE projects have supported over 2,000 young people, women, elders, and vulnerable adults and people with disabilities living along the Ethiopia-Kenya border to build resilience and live peacefully together. It also supports local and government groups to handle conflicts sustainably. Using VSO's Measuring Impact for Learning and Empowerment approach, Sena has worked hard to ensure local voices are heard, having trained and supported community and national volunteers to track progress fairly and effectively.
Reporting and monitoring validation and documentation has as equal value as doing the work itself. Sometimes we may do the work, but if that work is not known, and if the impact and if the progress is not known by the people around, it may not make sense. It may multiply the work by 0 even. I'm a national volunteer working at VSO, right? And sometimes when we think about this monitoring documentation, then something related to system change, usually it's perceived that someone in a higher position can make those changes. But me doing all those work as a national volunteer and trying to bring change, a big office at the national level gives me a satisfaction and gives me happiness.
Can I announce the winners now?
Yes, please do.
Great. I'm incredibly honored to announce the winners for this system strengthening category. We have 2 winners for this, Sena Getinet and Celestin Kalayevi. And I've been seeing active chat messages around these volunteers as well, so I think this is no surprise to anyone. Congratulations. Yeah. And can I please invite Sena
Which team is
for acceptance speech?
We didn't have that. Yes, I'm yes. Yes. Yes, yes. It's supposed to be.
Celestin, can you hear us?
Yes. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Celestin Kalayevi and
그다음에 비키우도 켜야지. 어떻게 되는 거야?
working under TMR project, Let's Learn Through Play. I'm very excited to be awarded as System Strengthening winner in Volunteer Impact Award 2024. And for really, I deeply honored and humbled to be receiving this award from VSO during my career. And I am, especially during this period of celebrating International Volunteer Day, it's really something which is great to me. And it's something always I will remember and cherish to everyone. Simply, my volunteering experience has been a journey of learning how to work differently as a qualified teacher, adapting my learning to the mentor for teachers who are doing the same as I used to do. I learned different ways of working with the people, valuing their contribution to work, and I have learned to drive my work with less supervision, strengthen my work, and learn more ways of giving support. This enabled me to build my ICT skills and take me to another level, which was impact me to another career growth, skill development, connection, networking, giving back to the community for last change. So in future, I hope to bring my volunteering experience into my professional development for education and working style. If opportunity lies, I would like to advance my career pathway in EdTech to support users. Finally, I would like to appreciate all the volunteers and the staff for working and supporting me on VSO TMR. My achievements, of course, goes to everyone who contributed to my change and in my life and skills. So many thanks to you all.
Hello, everyone. This is also Sana. I'm truly honored to accept this Volunteer Impact Award.
today. So I have been volunteering in Ethiopia country office as a national volunteer for almost 2 years now. And I have been engaged in different aspects of active program as well as IPDHE projects, majorly in developing case studies, participating in success stories, in implementing some project activities, as well as MILE. MILE is measuring impact for learning empowerment. I have been engaged in all the 4 phases of MILE in IPDHE, as well as in quarterly reporting, which is the ASENDAR platform representing all the projects in Ethiopia office. So I'm truly honored and humbled to be here with you celebrating this Volunteer Impact Award. And I want to thank VSO globally for the opportunity for creating a volunteerism system to let people contribute their skill and knowledge and their time in this special circumstances. And I'm very thankful for the Ethiopia country office by nominating me from the beginning, for believing in me and giving me the opportunity to put my skills and everything in it. Thank you for those who nominated me, also who took the initiation and the lead in the nomination process. I also want to thank the team who coordinating this event and making this happen. I can see the hard work that you have put in this. Thank you so much. And the last thing that I want to say, of course, we are not going to be volunteers for the whole time, but whatever happens, these are the time that we always treasure and carry in our lives. And thank you so much once again.
Thank you so much, Sina and Celestian, for your kind remarks. As you can all see that most of our volunteers and finalists have been working in digital spaces. They have been utilizing these digital spaces to volunteer to create a bigger impact. At this point, I would like to also highlight the VSO Digital Ambassador Program, which piloted in August 2024. And we have 9 volunteers from different parts of the world. We have volunteers from Bangladesh, Nepal, Ethiopia, Nigeria, and Pakistan as well. I being a Pakistani VSO Digital Ambassador. This program, if we talk about this program empowers talented individuals to create engaging digital content that showcases the inspiring work of our volunteers from all of the different spaces. They share it using their digital spaces as well. So by leveraging these platforms and the power of online platforms such as LinkedIn and YouTube, Instagram, etc., these social media platforms, these ambassadors are inspiring others to become active citizens in their own digital spaces. So as I talked about the VSO Digital program, we also have a VSO Digital Ambassador from Bangladesh. I would like to welcome Lamia to please to come and share her inspiring journey of digital volunteerism and the work that she has done in her own space. So over to you, Lamia.
Thank you so much, Aris. Hello, everyone. Good evening from Bangladesh. I'm Lamia Tasnim, Digital Ambassador of VSO and an active volunteer of VSO Bangladesh. Through volunteering, I realized that I cannot only be a citizen, but I need to be an active and responsible citizen. Being a passionate advocate for environmental sustainability, education, social justice, I work to contribute to impactful initiatives. The Digital Ambassador Program helps me a lot in leveraging social media to raise awareness about sustainability and living and reducing carbon footprints. The program brought us together with volunteers who are ready to use our voices to create a change on a wider scale and in our own communities. is to raise awareness of the inspiring work our volunteers are doing across the globe and encourage more people to become active citizens in their own digital spaces. So that's why in the active citizenship category, we honor those who exemplify the spirit of community and collaboration. Individuals and teams whose actions have ignited change and transformed lives, from tackling inequality to championing sustainability. This year's finalists have demonstrated the power of collective impact. So let's meet now the change makers shaping a better future tomorrow. These inspiring finalists remind us that active citizenship is at the heart of building resilient communities. So being an active citizen, we can make this world a better place to live. So now we will play the film featuring this year's finalists in the active citizenship category.
VSO works with a global movement of volunteers to support active citizenship across livelihoods, gender, disability, climate, education, and health. So what do we mean by active citizenship? VSO volunteers nominated in the active citizenship category help people exercise their voice and agency in claiming their rights and take action for social change in their communities and societies. Dev Upajaya Dungal, National Volunteer, Nepal. Sikai Inclusive Education Project. Sikai, meaning learning in Nepali, is an inclusive education project that supports over 7,000 students, 600 teachers, and 700 parents by boosting school enrollment, improving learning outcomes, and helping children transition from grade 5 to 6 at school. The project operates in 60 schools in Gandaki province. Dev has promoted school attendance and parental involvement by raising awareness on the importance of education. His efforts to reduce corporal punishment, establish complaint response committees, and create child clubs have fostered a child-friendly environment. These initiatives have improved learning conditions, increased attendance at school, and strengthened community engagement, contributing to more parents enrolling their children in school.
When I joined Sikai, a lot of students would come to school regularly, and parents were not really concerned about their children's education. They thought that sending their children to school was all they had to do. So from that, starting from nothing, literally, to seeing now where we've almost got all children from the community to all our schools, so all our 60 schools, that itself is the proudest moment. And though there's a lot of hardship, it is difficult, the terrain is difficult, sometimes you get landslides and you have to cross rivers, and there are a host of problems, but I wouldn't change anything about this. It is so satisfying to see change and to change people's lives.
Muke Jokim, National Volunteer, Uganda. Muke Jokim, a VSO Disability and Inclusion Advisor in Uganda's Bidibidi refugee settlement in Yumbe district, has advanced inclusive education by enrolling children with disabilities in school and training caregivers and educators. Through the ACTIVE project, over 6,000 children aged 6 to 10 have benefited from improved early childhood and primary education. To encourage children to stay in school, Muke Jokim supported the creation of school kitchen gardens to improve nutrition and launched a savings and loans program for parents promoting financial literacy. By working closely with parents, he has challenged traditional views, which has changed the narrative for many households who now understand the importance of early education. Not only has his efforts seen greater child enrollment, but the development of learning materials, planting trees, and working with families to reduce gender-based violence.
I'm seeing some children with disabilities who have not been in school have already been enrolled in school. I have seen teachers, like our caregivers, were not initially professional trained caregivers, but we have been taking them through, and some of them have started achieving certificates. And when I see all this coming up, then I feel proud. If we all come up with a decision of saying, in whatever we are doing, at least 10% of the people we are supporting should be persons with disability. This number of percentage should be women or girls, because remember also girls have been marginalized at a certain extent. So we need to look at how do we also include them within our programmatic areas, so that whatever we are doing is inclusive to the society we are helping.
Ayemia, National Volunteer, Myanmar. Ayemia has delivered mental health and psychosocial support and literacy and numeracy training to over 400 community volunteers, education leaders, and partner organizations in Yangon province. She engaged with Hindu learning centers and monastic schools to support children displaced by conflict. She designed a 20-hour catch-up curriculum focused on literacy and numeracy for children, integrating mental health and psychosocial support sessions to enhance their well-being. Ayemia's collaboration with the Myanmar Education Consortium led to her involvement in policy-level initiatives, including developing a framework and curriculum for early childhood care and development. Ayemia set up WhatsApp groups where teachers can share ideas and develop their professional skills.
So after the 3-month program, the administrator from the Hindu Center said to me, very thankful for me, because last year in their center, most of the children lived up because of the language barrier. But in this year, after joining our program, they can stay at the Hindu Center and still continuous learning in their formal education. So when he said to me, I feel very proud. In the future, I will see volunteering often inspire those we work with to begin volunteer themselves. So our participants will share their experience and knowledge gained from the EDU project with the subjects of volunteerism. Yeah.
Eliud Morris, National Volunteer, Tanzania. The Boosting the Blue Economy project in Tanzania supports youth entrepreneurship and sustainable economic growth. Eliud has supported over 300 vocational trainees with leadership skills and career guidance, and helped secure internships for young people. He has facilitated loans of over 30 million Tanzanian shillings for 16 groups, and he has helped create 320 small businesses. After completing sign language training, Eliud supported the deaf community, helping them secure 42 million Tanzanian shillings in development funds. He has raised awareness of the impact of climate change on marine livelihoods and mobilized 200 small-scale fishers to adopt sustainable practices. He mobilized 500 youth to plant 300 mangroves, with plans to engage 1,000 more young people in mangrove restoration.
What makes me proud and happy with my work as a VSO volunteer is mobilizing and empowering primary actors, especially young people. That's what I'm proud of. So we empower them for them to become economically free, but also we empower them so that, because we are expecting them to be the leaders of tomorrow. So if we don't empower them today, who are going to be the leaders of the next generation?
Wow, that's so motivating. So now I'm very pleased to announce the joint winners are Dev Ubadea Dungal from Nepal and Mukesh Jokim from Uganda. Now I'll hand over to Dev to give a few words of acceptance.
Hello everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Dave.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the award. Truly honored. But as I stand here to take this award, I like to make it very clear that this is a team effort. Though I may have won it, I take this on behalf of all the national volunteers across VSO, and especially all the national volunteers here in Nepal. This is their joint effort. They encourage me every day. They inspire me. And so thank you so much. I work in a rural village in Nepal, and it is difficult to get children to school. And when we started the project, the COVID pandemic just begun, so it's really difficult to bring children to school and to make sure that learning is happening. So we made sure that after we implemented the project and after COVID lockdown was over, that we brought these children to school, and so that none of them are left behind. So I want to thank everyone involved in the Sikai project, everyone involved at VSO, especially to Jaisar, the country director, Sika man, the project implementation lead, Firoz, the project manager, and the entire Sikai team, as well as the VSO Nepal team, as well as my friends over at BYC. Thank you all. It's been a collective effort. I do want to highlight the fact that what we've done in the project is we've made sure that our project is sustainable. We have a large collection of volunteers, 60 big sisters and 600 community youth volunteers who work tirelessly to change the lives of people. So I want to thank all of them. We've also implemented programs where parents are now more empowered and more engaged in their children's education. We've made schools more child-friendly. We've implemented education policies that are more child-inclusive, working with the local government. So I want to thank every one of them. Lastly, I would like to thank the organizing team at VSO. Thank you for organizing the award. And my brother and my parents are watching this. They're more excited than I am. I love you guys so much. I am here because of you. You give me all the power and strength and love to carry on. Thank you so much. Truly indebted.
Thank you so much, Dave. That's very inspiring. So now I'll hand over to Bouquet Jukim to give a few words of acceptance. Bouquet, are you there? Hello?
Hello?
Okay, are you there?
Yes, you can hear?
Yes, I can hear you. So, hand over to you. Okay.
Okay.
This meeting is being recorded.
Congratulations, Joaquin. That's enough. Give us your message.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. It's really an excitement in Uganda for us to reach up to this extent because it's not always easy to make it at this point. And for all those who have always been visiting Uganda, you have always been seeing the work that we are doing in Uganda, more especially as volunteers in Uganda. It's not always something that you may come from the blue and you find out winning it. It's a support from different actors, more especially the engagement of the communities that we are working with and looking at the marginalized persons that we are working with and assuring that we are all collaborative in nature. I appreciate everyone outside there who managed to support us as Uganda, because I know most of the people outside there, because you know about Uganda and the fragile context of Uganda, you managed to continue supporting us to ensure that we reach up to this award. We still continue to request for you to join us as we reach the next goal. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
This meeting is being recorded.
Thank you so much, Muke and Dev, for your kind remarks, and we congratulate all of you, and we appreciate all the hard work you're doing and all the positive impact that you're creating. Now, moving ahead with our awards, we have some inspiring stories from across the Asia and Pacific Oceans. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker for today, Melba Pine. She is originally from Colombia, and Melba is an education specialist with extensive experience in leadership, management, and educational reforms. Her work has taken her across Asia and Africa, contributing to the projects with meaningful social, environmental, and economical impacts. We would love to hear about her incredible volunteering journey and the experiences that have shaped her perspective. So we would love to hear your thoughts, Melba. Over to you. Melba, can you hear us?
Melba, I think you're on mute. Yes, sorry. Typical mistake, eh?
It's
Okay. Hello, everyone. So greetings from Colombia. I'm delighted with this opportunity and very happy to be here with you, learning about your experience and celebrating your achievements. Congratulations to all the nominees and the winners. Your stories are really inspiring. Thank you to VSO for inviting me to share my stories with you. So the inspiration behind volunteering came from a conviction that we do not live in isolation and that one must try to share, connect, and grow with others. Education is my passion, and I believe learning is about the opportunity each one of us has to reach our full potential. For me, the significance and impact of volunteering has been about feeling happy, giving my time and attention to others, and being ready to learn from those around me. I learned about the power of volunteering in the early 90s, and the connection with VSO's vision was immediate. In 2006, personal and career circumstances made me consider volunteering as the next step to take in my life. As I researched about VSO and his work in Africa and Asia, my interest in volunteering rapidly became a dream I wanted to make a reality. From there on, the steps I took and the support I received from VSO along the way became part of a journey of discovery and growth for which I am forever grateful. From the moment the selection process started to meeting VSO staff and fellow volunteers going to places that seemed too far away from home, I felt something very special and unique was waiting for me. To this day, I continue to appreciate the valuable learning that took place during the weeks-long residential training program delivered by VSO returned volunteers. As key new recruits, we learned about building relationships and sharing the skills with people we didn't know but care about. I left the training with a good understanding of the importance of resilience and how to be resourceful in an unfamiliar context. Practicalities were also discussed, and returned volunteers' tales of bravery and ingenuity were stimulating and added to the excitement. Tips I remember including trying to learn some basic language, packing light but considering all eventualities and emergencies, and bringing medication to alleviate an upset stomach. Now, they all proved to be extremely useful recommendations. I have been a VSO volunteer twice. The first time I went to China, I lived in a small town in a Shanxi province, a place that did not appear on Google Maps. I quickly enrolled on a crash Mandarin course, and by the end of it, still being unable to put together a coherent sentence, I started to wonder how am I going to survive without the language. As a school management advisor, my role was to develop the leadership skills of head teachers in relation to the professional development of teachers of English. VSO international volunteers were helping teachers to improve their English and the delivery of effective, interesting, and fun lessons. A real change from the traditional methods used at the time when children learned from memory and repetition. My role was to introduce head teachers and officials from the local education authority to new ways of planning, observing, and evaluating teaching in the classroom to increase learners' engagement and improving exam results. For a year, and with the help of Hui Min, a wonderful national volunteer who was my translator, I worked with a core group of 30 head teachers from rural schools. Cycles of training on school improvement planning, collaboration, and professional development of teachers were followed by actual visits to the schools, where head teachers would proudly introduce me to teachers and students while showing me around buildings and facilities. Often, there was a walk around the village, which created a commotion, as in some of the most remote places, I was the first foreign visitor ever to come to the village. Of those visits, I have fondest memories of the long bus trips, driving across beautiful landscapes, and of sharing tasty meals, often made up of ingredients I could not identify. I used to set up an improvised English corner, where with the help of a few photos of my family and Colombia, my country of origin, I would encourage students and teachers to practice their English. Most of them were very curious about my life and the reasons for being in their school and village. Just over 10 years later, I had the opportunity to volunteer again, this time in Rwanda. I had the privilege to be part of the Building Learning Foundations program, funded by UK aid and with the purpose of improving learning outcomes for 4.2 million Rwandan children. Led by the Education Development Trust alongside a consortium of 3 UK partners, VSO being one of them, the BLF program focused on providing technical assistance in 3 areas across all primary grades: system strengthening, school leadership, and teacher development for foundational skills in English and mathematics. As an education specialist, consultant, and coach, and by now with a solid career in leadership and management, I was one of 5 school leadership advisors implementing the school leadership strand of the program, a crucial part of the program. I was based in the northern province, supporting 1/5 of the 2,500 head teachers from public and government-aided schools in the country. The unique leadership for learning approach focused on transforming head teachers' practices through the network of professional learning communities, a system of coaching, and academically accredited workplace-based continuing professional development courses from the University of Rwanda, the College of Education. My job was to introduce a coaching model to support head teachers' leadership development. I coached and trained a team of 14 outstanding national leaders for learning and over 100 local leaders of learning. In turn, they supported more head teachers to reach 500 in total in the province. I travel around by region, visiting head teachers and delivering training in their schools on important topics such as evaluation, school improvement planning, inclusion, and engaging with the school general assemblies. Besides preparing activities and resources for each activity, I used to prepare carefully the logistics of the trip involved. I found it scary to travel on motorbikes, the common way of transport. Instead, I decided to tackle public transport with a stoic attitude. I lived near the bus station in Mozambique, and after many trips, I knew the bus numbers, the routes, the destinations. The bus drivers also knew me, and they tried to be very helpful. Having an address or directions written on a piece of paper was not always useful, and in conversations in Kinder Ugandan made me even more anxious. I remember the day when I was left by the side of the road, where all I could see was a vast banana plantation. You will find a school at the other side of the banana plantation, somebody in the bus had said. I did not feel capable to find the school without more specific instructions or clear path or some company. And I had visions of being lost and disorientated. So I decided to walk along the main road until I arrived to a small market, where I became a center of attention, people curious, inquiring about my business in the area. Seeing children in uniform was always a relief, indicating the school was nearby. Or was it? Most times there was not, as children had to walk long distances to reach their school. Many times I would follow them, walking up tall hills on muddy tracks and even crossing rivers. And in the land of the 1,000 hills, some paths in my region were covered in volcanic rocks left by the eruptions of the Virunga volcanoes. In the case of the banana plantation situation, I was able to call the head teacher who kindly, as they all were, came to my rescue and showed me the way. As you can imagine, there are many unforgettable anecdotes, and I tend to recall many of those because they fill me with joy and make me smile. They help me see life in a different light. Many are about situations where I'm trying to adapt to a new life in a foreign land. In both China and Uganda, being a little different put me in some funny situations. In China, having my hair cut was an ordeal, and before anything was done, I will be surrounded by all the hairdressers who would touch my hair and they discuss my texture, color, and style. My permanent bad haircut in China was due to the fact that they have all decided that my hair was too thick and therefore too difficult to style. In Rwanda, I lived in a flat in the town center. It took me a while to get used to the town's noises. Loud vendors, noisy motorbikes, and lively bars were all around me. Soon I realized there was a pattern of noises throughout the day and the week by which I could set my clock. So every day at 3 a.m., a lady swept the dirt road. This was followed by the call to prayer from the mosque down the road, followed by the choir singing in the nearby church. Soon after, loud roaring noises would produce an echo in the courtyard, where there was a motorbike repair shop. In the evenings, from about 5 p.m., the bars would start to play music until about 3 a.m. So one of the bars used to play Latin American music, which I really enjoyed very much. It would have been nice to have the weekend a bit of peace and tranquility. However, international football games were watched by large crowds gathering around a large screen in the betting shop on the floor below my flat. Goals or no goals, stamping, shouting, and jumping used to make the whole building shake. Of course, all that changed when COVID started, and all public places were quickly closed. The human noises disappeared and were replaced by birds singing and the chatter of frogs and insects. I can talk about many powerful stories, testimony of bravery, kindness, and commitment to achieving together that common goal. I met wonderful people along the way, and from each other I learned a lot of things. Sometimes useful information, often mind-blowing situation. I will never forget the head teacher who arrived late to one of my meetings and quickly sat in a corner of the room. His shoes were very dirty, and he looked unprepared for the session. What I didn't know at the time was that he had walked for 3 hours, living in the dark, in the early hours of the day, to reach the venue on time. Of course, he had to walk back another 3 hours to return to his home. I found that remarkable. The biggest challenge to my volunteer work was COVID. Whilst everything changed, it didn't derail the determination of those involved. Sadly, I was repatriated, and although my circumstances changed dramatically, I continued to coach head teachers remotely. With this state of emergency, discussions with the head teachers were focused on finding ways to help children, in particularly girls, who were in vulnerable situations. I felt we were united in pursuit of solutions and in solidarity in the face of the uncertainty that was affecting all of us in equal measure. On sustainable impact, I like to think that by supporting school head teachers, I have touched the lives of many children and their teachers in both China and Rwanda. In Rwanda, head teachers completed their studies in the University of Rwanda. The BLF program was highly successful, and I'm proud to have been part of it. The program scored an A in its annual review by the UK's Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office. I think volunteering is one of the best experiences anyone can have. It is about taking a break to help others make progress and fulfill their vision for the future. It is time to refresh one's life, to meet wonderful people, to be in amazing places, to grow professionally as a person. For me, volunteering has also been a great way to consolidate my career. What I've learned and my experience cannot be gained in any other way. I continue to volunteer for other organizations and in different roles. I volunteer for United World Colleges and Age UK. I also volunteer for the Cheltenham Festivals, a charitable organization that programs music, science, literature events. For the future, I hope I can volunteer with VSO in the field of education once again. Thank you very much for listening. Hope to meet you again sometime, somewhere. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Melba, and congratulations to all the finalists. Thank you so much for that wonderful and inspiring journey that you've shared with us, Melba. And it's so humbling to hear about the impact your work has made around the world, especially in China and in Rwanda, where you had to encounter the plantation. And yeah, I think it's indeed made a very big impact in creating a fair award for all the learners that you came across, and we can see the passion that you have in all your works. And this story is indeed inspiring to everybody who is listening right now today. At this point, I would like to introduce to you somebody. He is a 5-time award-winning versatile hip-hop artist. He is an environmentalist. He is a climate change activist. He's an entrepreneur. He is a human rights activist. And above all, this person has been serving as a community volunteer for VSO, working on the Waste to Work project in Kenya. He composed a music video to celebrate all the volunteers all over the world and share the impact of their work in the vulnerable communities globally. So this music video is also a reflection of the importance of volunteers in our lives, and it also appreciates the efforts that these volunteers create. So this person is no other than Lawrence Ocheng, who is also known as Larry Dwayne by his stage name. Let us show some love as I hand over the mic to Lawrence. Lawrence, please, can come through. We're glad to have you on the call.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here with my fellow volunteers and getting to hear their stories in the different contexts in different regions. Definitely our happiness, our challenges align, but also how we overcome them and just come around them and make them our strength is also something that's really motivating. So this is really amazing, and thank you so much. So just to talk about the song, I remember that yeah, we can play the song, then I can talk about it later.
Here's to the ones who lead with love, hands held high, lifting us above. They give their time, their hope and their cheer. Here's to every volunteer.
There's a light that shines, a hand that lives, a kindness given like a gift. They step right in, no need to call, so strong, they give their all. Yeah, through the storms, through the highs and lows, they are the ones that keeps us close. With hearts that care, they give and strive, making sure we all can thrive. Yeah, okay, here's to every volunteer.
Here's to the ones who lead with love, hands held high, lifting us above. They give their time, their hope and their cheer. Here's to every volunteer.
With every smile, every helping hand, they are the strength that makes us stand. In their eyes, their words change clear, changing lives year by year. For every heart that's brave and true, for every soul that sees it through, let the world rise up and cheer for the ones we call volunteers. Volunteers. Everybody say VSO. VSO. VSO.
Here's to the ones who lead with love, hands held high, lifting us above. They give their time, their hope and their cheer. Here's to every volunteer.
Thank you so much for that video. Lawrence, are you able to give us some intel on the video before we wrap up?
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone, for the positive reactions. And mainly the video, in terms of the video and the song, my motivation came from showcasing how a community thrives in being together and creating some resilience in working together towards a better future. So the importance of volunteers in the community and how they play an important role in covering gaps in regards to different amenities or challenges that they might be experiencing. So I just wanted to showcase that volunteers play a really important role, and we should definitely celebrate them. And this day is really important, and we should definitely continue to have such occasions so that we can actually shine a light on these important people. So that's all from me.
Thank you so much, Lawrence. And thank you so much to everybody for taking your time to join us on the call and get to learn of the different works that our volunteers are doing all over the world.
To our finalists and winners, your dedication and impact remind us of the power of volunteering. To our speakers, performers, and the audience, thank you so much for bringing your energy and passion to this celebration.
We're going to play the song again at the end of this at the end of this call for those that want to listen to it again. But before we do that, please tell us your motivation tell us your motivation for volunteering is using the hashtag #WeVolunteer4 on the social media link that Alice is going to put in the chat box.
And lastly, a heartfelt thanks to the VSO team and the VSO global teams from all across the globe, my wonderful co-host Gift for making today unforgettable. Thank you again and stay blessed. Bye.
Thank you very much. All the best, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
We can have the song replay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yes, if we can. Yes.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
See you guys, everyone.
Hey, Cash,
Thank you
can
for
we play the
joining.
song again if you're there? Please.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Here's to the ones who lead with love, hands held high, lifting us above. They give their time, their hope and their cheer. Here's to every volunteer.
There's a light that shines, a hand that lives, a kindness given like a gift. They step right in, no need to call, standing strong, they give their all. Yeah, through the storms, through the highs and lows, they are the ones that keeps us close, with hearts that care. They give and strive, making sure we all can thrive. Yeah, okay, here's to every volunteer.
Here's to the ones who lead with love, hands held high, lifting us above. They give their time, their hope and their cheer. Here's to every volunteer.
With every smile, every helping hand, they are the strength that makes us stand. In their eyes, there was change clear, changing lives year by year. For every heart that's brave and true, for every soul that sees it through, let the world rise up and cheer for the ones we call volunteers. Volunteers. Everybody say VSO. VSO.
Here's to the ones who lead with love, hands held high, lifting us above. They give their time, their hope and their cheer. Here's to every volunteer.
Hey, that was awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Bye, everyone. Have fun.